The sun bled out over the Hudson River, painting the sky in orange and purple. Below, New York City glittered, a million lights for a million dreams. It was the summer of 1929. America was on top of the world. The war was over. The future seemed limitless. Ambition filled the air, humming with the energy of a nation that believed anyone could make a fortune. Wall Street was the engine of this illusion. By day, a canyon of noise and energy. By night, a watchful quiet. But the work never stopped. Lights burned late in the towers of finance. Men charted the course of American prosperity, speaking the language of stocks and dividends. The dream wasn't just for bankers, it was for everyone. The city pulled in people from farms, towns, and distant shores, all seeking something more. They saw new cars on Fifth Avenue, heard jazz from Harlem, and gazed up at the Chrysler Building, a monument to progress and profit. The future was being built, one stock certificate at a time. The promise was intoxicating, a fever spreading across the land. In those twilight hours, optimism felt boundless. The past was forgotten. The future was a golden shore within reach. No one saw the storm clouds gathering. No one heard the distant rumble of collapse. They were too busy dreaming, blinded by the city's lights. The stage was set for tragedy. The players were all in place, ready for their cue. The idea was simple and seductive. Stocks were for everyone now. The shoe shiner, the elevator operator, the waitress, all could buy a piece of the American dream. The stock market was seen as a one-way street to wealth. For a time it seemed true. The market only went up. The ticker tape machine became the heartbeat of the new economy. Brokerage houses opened everywhere. People gathered around the tape as if it were scripture. They cheered their paper fortunes, feeling smart and powerful. Buying on margin made it easy. Put down 10%, borrow the rest. As long as stocks rose, you were a genius. Millions mortgaged homes, emptied savings, borrowed against the future for a shot at riches. Legendary stories spread, a chauffeur who struck it rich, a secretary who built an empire. These tales became modern fables, confirming the belief that the old rules no longer applied. Hard work and thrift were out, speculation was in. The market became a national obsession, a collective delusion. It was a casino, and the whole country had a seat at the table. The more people bought, the higher prices soared. The higher prices went, the more people wanted in. The cycle fed itself, detaching the market from reality. The dream of easy wealth swept the nation. But beneath the euphoria, risk was building. The market's rise was built on hope, debt, and the belief that the party would never end. Few questioned the wisdom of it all. The gospel of the ticker tape drowned out caution. The stakes were growing higher by the day. The nation was all in. The New York Stock Exchange floor was chaos shouts, frantic gestures, fortunes made and lost in seconds. The energy radiated outward, electrifying the nation. Stocks dominated conversation on streetcars, at dinner tables, at parties. People who'd never owned a share became instant experts, offering tips and predictions. Wall Street's language became Main Street's. Brokers were heroes, market titans became celebrities. Newspapers and magazines amplified the message. The good times were here to stay. The more people bought, the higher prices climbed. The cycle fed itself, detaching prices from reality. All that mattered was getting in before the next surge. The crowd's roar was deafening a nation believing the impossible. The bubble grew, fueled by collective euphoria. The value of companies no longer mattered. The only question, will it go up? The market was a runaway train. Few saw the danger ahead. The nation was running headlong toward a cliff. The sound was the rush of millions, all in, all at once. While Wall Street soared, the heartland struggled. Farmers faced collapsing crop prices and mounting debt. Banks foreclosed, dust storms gathered. Prosperity was a myth for many. In cities, factories churned out goods, but workers' wages stagnated. Production outpaced purchasing power. Consumer debt soared. Wealth concentrated at the top, while most lived paycheck to paycheck. The economy became a pyramid balanced on its point. Warning signs, struggling farms, stagnant wages, rising inequality, were ignored. Wall Street believed it had created a new era, immune to old rules. Rising stock prices blinded them to the real economy's illness. The foundation was cracking, but the music was too loud to notice. Trouble was brewing beneath the surface. Wealth became a moral crusade. Greed was a virtue, the engine of progress. The new hero was the speculator, the risk-taker. Success was measured by portfolio, not character. The market was the ultimate judge. The fever-warped judgment blinding the nation to reality. To be rich was to be admired, envied, free. Pressure to join the market was immense. To sit out was to be a fool. Investors stopped asking if companies were profitable, only if stocks would go up. The market became a fantasy world detached from logic. Leaders reassured the public, fueling the delusion. The nation dreamed of endless wealth, ignoring the risks. By late summer 1929, the market reached dizzying heights. Subtle signs of trouble appeared. Buying slowed, smart money quietly sold. The market dipped, then rebounded, masking the danger. Warnings grew louder. Roger Babson predicted a crash but was dismissed. The market recovered, faith unshaken. Volatility increased, sharp losses, frantic rallies. Small investors grew anxious, brokers offered reassurances. Tension hung in the air, confidence faded. The dream felt fragile, uncertainty crept in. The market was stretched to its limit, built on hope and debt. The final days ticked away. The quake was coming. It was not a matter of if, but when. The nation held its breath. The foundation was crumbling. The countdown had begun. The end was near. No one could stop it. The end began on Thursday, October 24, 1929. A wave of selling became a torrent. The ticker tape couldn't keep up. Panic set in. No one knew the true price of their stocks. The trading floor erupted in chaos. Crowds gathered outside, fearful. Bankers tried to halt the panic, making dramatic purchases to restore confidence. For a moment, it worked. The market rallied, but the calm was fragile. Over the weekend, fear deepened as investors tallied their losses. Monday brought relentless selling. No rescue this time. The market plunged by 13%. Black Monday. The dream was dead. Survival became the focus. Then came Black Tuesday, October 29th. The opening bell signaled a rout. Everyone selling, no one buying. Trading volume shattered records, prices collapsed, fortunes vanished in hours. By day's end, billions were lost. The great bull market was over. The roaring 20s crashed to a halt. The nation was in shock. The nightmare had begun. The crash was total. The world watched in disbelief. The era of easy money was over. The consequences would be felt everywhere. The reckoning had arrived. Nothing would ever be the same. The crash was just the beginning. The market kept falling, erasing years of gains. Despair spread. Stories of ruined investors became legend. Margin buyers were wiped out, left with debt and nothing else. Bank failures followed as panicked depositors rushed to withdraw savings. Thousands of banks closed, destroying trust in the system. The real economy collapsed. Businesses couldn't get loans. Demand vanished. Factories shut down. Unemployment soared. The crisis in cities deepened the crisis on farms. The nation spiraled downward. The Great Depression had begun. The world would soon feel its effects. The Great Depression brought unprecedented hardship. Breadlines, dust storms shattered faith. The old belief in unregulated markets had failed. In 1932, Franklin Delano Roosevelt promised a New Deal. Action, relief, reform. New programs put people to work, built infrastructure, and created a safety net. Financial reforms like Glass-Steagall and the SEC restored trust and stability. The lessons were clear: unchecked markets are unstable, greed can destroy, inequality is dangerous. Government must protect its citizens and regulate the economy. The memory of those dark years is a warning. Prosperity is fragile, history must be studied. The rules we make are all that stand between order and chaos.